key, which is what the internet says I'm supposed to do. Save. Okay, there we go. Now I see video here. Let's see if it pops up in my channel. Is there a thing I'm supposed to click on here to explicitly go live? Pop out dashboard, channel settings. Aw. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not going live here. What is up with that? Let's see, video shows up, but something wrong monkey shows. Many YouTube servers are failing to process or display your stream feed despite receiving it. This is a temporary outage on YouTube's end. Wait 10 to 15 minutes and refresh the page. If the stream is live but showing a monkey, issues likely resolving automatically as YouTube's backend catches up. Verification. Check if the stream is visible on a different device or incognito week. Okay. But I don't think it's showing up at all. Yeah. Stream is likely stuck in a processing state or suffering from visibility mismatch. Huh. Go to YouTube Studio Content. Look for any live streams stuck at processing, saving, archiving. Oh, okay. Let's try that. I'll do that from this computer. So I don't have to touch that one. Content. Oh, why is this unlisted? Oh, it's showing live now. Is it working now? Oh, but it's showing as unlisted. Is that why? Can we make this public? I don't know if that's why it's not working. Oh, there it is. Now it's popping up. Now we've got live chat, testing chat, and now the connection's working. My sound's all messed up. This seems to happen a lot on YouTube for some reason. I'm going to restart this stream real quick.
Does that plug me back in? I don't think there's any sound now. Oh, because I muted it. Looks like there's also a delay. Okay, I think that fixed it. Sick. Okay, cool. Okay, so the live video being unlisted is also why this thing didn't work. Okay. Cool. So that's it. That's how it works. We have the dev stream here with the dev stream sources. And now I've got the gaming stream here with the gaming stream sources. We're also going to eventually add Facebook in here, but that's not set up yet. So I'll revisit that later. But for right now, let's get started on the game devy stuff that we wanted to do before. Also, make sure that my Kick chat's still working. Test Kick. Oh, sick. Now, the chats are going to appear from top to bottom for now, but we'll fix that later today. Probably. Maybe even we'll do that on stream. This is my new chat system that I built myself. Myself meaning I vibe coded it. But it's actually really cool. It's actually really cool. It's open source. I haven't made the repo public yet, but that repo will go public on GitHub soon. I'm just like tightening some things up before I want to make it public. And everything is open source. You guys can check it out, make pull requests or whatever. But that's basically it. It's this thing that it allows you to create multiple groups of chat sources for live streaming sites. You can pool them all into one. Then it shows the chat here, and this chat section here basically works as an OBS doc. And then it's also got this cool little feature where we can do show it as an overlay. And I realize it's very bright and probably pain your eyes right now, but that overlay will just show just the chat messages, and then you can use that as a browser source for your stream as well. Very cool stuff. Okay, so let's come back to the world of Unity. What the heck was I doing yesterday? So let's take a look. I had a comment here. Check that the entrance number exists before assigning it. Right, we were working on a debug window, and I was trying to think, how can I verify? Because the problem that we have with this debug tools here, and maybe I should rename this window too, by the way. Where the heck does this window get its name from? What was that thing called? Debug, entrance override, debug input manager, debug tools window. Get window, title debug tools. Let's sort of brand it so we know it has not really anything to do with Unity and everything to do with our game. Huh. Wait, is it still not? Oops. Oh, there we go. I just had to recreate it. So yeah, this entrance override thing, we need some sort of bounds checking here. And let's go to our spawn registry. This is where our override is. Right. So where do we want to check this? Let's think about this for a hot minute. I guess what we do is we loop over them again. I don't know if this is a super good way to do this off the top of my head, but yeah, it's basically 2n, which is as good as we're going to get here. 2n and n are basically identical. We have like a handful of these things. It's not really running that much. If spawn equals null, wait, what is this actually doing? Spawn, oh, sorry. Oh, so actually what we want to do here, oh, I see. Let me gather my thoughts here. So what I need to do is I need to check spawn points for nulls. So I need to check spawn points here is finding all the objects. And this, what I need to do is assign spawns. If assign spawn singular. Wait, key value pair. Oh, I see. This is going to return a number. Because this is a map. This is not an array. This is a map. Yeah, it's a dictionary. Fair. Okay, so that's a dictionary. I see. Can we destructure this somehow? Like player number, comma, spawn point. How do we do that? There's got to be a way to do that, right? Destructure dictionary and for each loop C#. Oh, I just needed parentheses. I was very close. If I don't even think I need player number. I think I just need spawn point. If spawn point is null. Oh, I see what I can do. I see what I can do here. I think. So we can do this in the first loop, maybe. Because right now I'm checking if the entrance numbers match, which I do want to do. But we can also say if the entrance numbers match or... spawn points subscript spawn dot. Yeah, let's expand this to another line. There's two cases we want to assign it. Spawn points, spawn dot player number is null, and spawn dot entrance number is assigned to 0. Equals 0, right? And because this spans multiple lines, I'm going to put curly braces. If the entrance numbers match, or we haven't assigned a spawn point yet and the entrance is 0. This fixes the condition where we override. Does that kind of... Yes, this fixes the condition where we override to a non-existing spawn point from the debug. I think that will handle our situation. So what are we going to do? So here, we'll test this by checking our override here, setting entrance to 1, giving us up here, which works, right? And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to leave this window alone, but we're going to open a level like Forest 1 that only has one entrance, and we're going to see what happens when we spawn in. The given key player 1 was not present in the dictionary. Spawn points dot contains key. Spawn dot player number. Or not contains key. And spawn entrance is 0. Rather than check that the value is nil, we have to check that the key is missing. Because the key's not there. The key's not there if the value's not there. Bonk. Lovely. And oh, but hold on. But this state may have updated. So let's go to 3. Override to 1. Lovely. Go back to level, well, either one of those really. I don't know if the debug tools window updated since then, but no crash is good. No crash is good. The other way to guard against this would maybe be to force this to update when the scene reloads. Or does that happen anyway? That happens anyway. So what were we bugging out on? Oh, I remember what the bug was. The bug wasn't that. The bug was, let's say we come, I think it was on one of these. Yeah, so here, if we come into this level, let's say from this level, where we set it to 1, and then we carry that one across. We carry that state across multiple levels. That's when we run into issues. So right here we have an exit 1. Whoa! But you see my debug window there. Entrance number is still set to 1. And then the problem is when I enter in here, fixed. Before it would skip me randomly to a different level. But now it seems to be working. I gotta find a solution for that. That is a very serious bug. I don't know why that happens. Oh, that's interesting. But the override was still set. So I think what needs to happen, what probably needs to happen, I think the real fix for this bug is not what I just did. It might be. But I think the real fix for this bug is to disable the override when you go to the next level, because otherwise it's going to override you in the wrong spot. But I think this is fine. It doesn't flake out as much as it used to. So I'm going to commit that. Just going to play that for now. I think, oops, lazy git. I think this is still a good solution. This might cause a bug though, depending on the order that it traverses these in. But no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, because we're only setting it if it's not already set. So it would be a fallback. Yeah, that would be a fallback. I think that's okay. That's okay for now. Spawn registry. Fix fallback to entrance 0 when spawn for player is visited and not yet set. Debug tool. Update brand debug tools to distinguish our tools from Unity built-ins. Should be hyphenated. That's cool. Okay, so what's next? Check the instance number. Boom, done. Okay, so smooth camera adjustments from Lens Changer. That would be something cool to do. The only level I have with the Lens Changer is the forest boss fight. Let's load it up. That's wild. The heck's my scene? That makes a lot of sense. Why is this? What in the hecky? There we go. I just reloaded the whole thing. Okay, so that snap that we hit when we cross this line. Also here we can use this debug override and we'll set this to spawn 1 because it's a little bit easier to control. And what's that called? Lens changer, right? Let me just double check my hierarchy here. We've got triggers. I think it's called a lens changer. It is a lens changer. Okay. So lens changer, let's look at the lens changer script. On trigger, set ortho size. Let me just see. Rider. Okay, it is installed in Rider. I think I did this already, but let me just restart Rider to make sure. We're going to have AI do this for us. Simplify things. Speed things up so we can focus on other stuff. I actually don't even know what's needed to do next. Yo, look how much stuff I got done last time. Okay. Lens changer changes camera ortho size. Can we add some animation with easing to transition between the current ortho size and the new one? See what we come up with here. Do I have water? Kind of. Yeah, I have water. I have plenty of water. Huh. Yeah, because this is going to do some transitioning for me, I think. Oops, I thought this was already running. So it actually made the changes in Camera Manager? Interesting. I'm going to have to upgrade the Unity package. Let's go Rider. Update to 340. I might have to update my Rider too, but we'll see. Let's look at these changes. So we have a ortho size transition duration, ortho size easing curve, Camera manager is a model behavior. We can put this in a group probably. Coroutine, ortho size transition. And we'll scroll down here. Set ortho size. What does this do? If ortho size transition is not null, then stop coroutine. Meaning there's already one running, then we'll stop it. Otherwise, we'll set that to a new coroutine, and that will start, and then that'll be the animate ortho size coroutine. So start size, player virtual cameras at count, player virtual cameras, sub-zero. It always takes the first one. What were we doing before? We were looping through all the virtual camera sizes before. This loops through delta time over transition time. We do linear interpolation here for each camera. Oh, and then we loop over each camera to adjust the size. So that this code snippet stays the same. Hides property component camera. And then we do it again at the end. Why do we do this twice? I'm guessing we do this twice because less than 1F. This like finalizes it to the target size. You gotta make sure it hits that last target size. Okay. Now animates instead of snapping, following the same coroutine lerp idiom already used in sprite fade for the t plus equals delta time over duration, just with an animation curve driving the e's instead of in raw linear t. Default duration's a half a second. The ortho size ease curve tunable in the inspector per scene without touching the code. Set ortho size stops any in-flight transition before starting a new one, so retriggering it mid-transition. Retargets smoothly from the current size instead of stacking coroutines fighting over the same cameras. Lens changer needs no changes. It already just calls the set ortho size. Go trigger lens. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see if it works. Oh, it looks so good. That looks so good, dude. We gotta fix these bugs though. These bugs are wild. But very cool. So Gate does the same thing. So let me commit this. And then there's one other thing I want to look at. So Gate kind of does the same thing that these other things do. That'll be a separate commit. Camera manager. Smooth enhance. Smooth camera ortho changes. For smoother UX, less jerkiness. Then I'll go here and add this Unity packages, bump writer ID package version. Right, that's 3, what was it? 3040. What version am I on? March, April. So there's a new version. is what I'm hearing. Let me close this out real quick. Let's update this real quick. Oh my gosh, there's a new version. I'm on last year's version. Oh, what's new? Copilot as an integrated agent. Great. Anything else that I care about, actually? I don't know. That's crazy. These are all relatively recent versions. Wild. So let's throw that on the daily done. Let's update this list of daily done stuff. I wish there was a way for me to just take all of this, click here, and just like move right. That would be insane. What is this? Projects? Is this a plugin? It is. Is this a plugin that's maintained? Doesn't look like it. Projects. Marcus Olson. I think it's not showing up because I think it's gone. Archived by the owner July 18, 2025 and is now read only. We might have to pick this up. I've decided to discontinue this plugin. I created Obsidian projects because I want to scratch my itch. Unfortunately, I'm no longer using Obsidian. Apache license. I forget how this one works. But what we might do, might want to do is just fork this. Am I signed in? No. Signed in over here, though. Nope, not signed in over there either. I lied. Oh, there are forks of it. I'm going to make my own fork just in case. Now I can preserve it through there, but let's just go. Obsidian projects. Code. Repositories. There we go. Public archive. What is long form? Making more work for myself is what I'm doing. But yeah, ideally, let me just browse through this real quick. Scripts. Python script generate test files. Okay, it's in TypeScript. That's useful. View. Projects view on pane menu. Because I'd like to keep using this if I can. And then just have a thing that will automatically move all of them from here to there. But what I can do for the time being, I think, isn't there a way, or am I thinking of the other plugin? Isn't there a way for me to open this as like a plain text file? Well, if there isn't, there is. That's not the most confusing thing I've ever said in my life. I don't remember if I put it under code. I think it's under Obsidian. Game dev. Projects. Ninja. Yeah. What's not a markdown file? ls. I used the wrong thing. Is that not right? I'm going to look this up because apparently I can't remember. Z shell negate glob. No, I was right. Negation operator matches any file that does not match the following pattern. Why doesn't that match anything? How do I use it? ls. I think they're all, let's just do this. That's 50. That's 49. So there is a file in here that's not a markdown file. It's not working. Oh. How do I set it? Set opt. That's what it is. No. There's actually more than one, but they're ping files. So I'm guessing. Oh, where did it actually store this? Like, where does it actually store where the, okay, I guess it's not as simple as I thought it was. Status, weekly done. Like, where does the status get set? Oops. Oh, gross. So we have to edit each file to do it. That's disgusting. Is it disgusting? Let me see how disgusting that may or may not be. So, what am I saying? Okay, so my plan here is sed. We're gonna sed some stuff. So, daily done. Right? That should give me 11. That means there's 11 tickets in here. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Man, RG file. I want to show the file name only. Pattern file. Search match one pattern per line. Choose position of the file. Okay, now. Let's Google it. RG show file name only. Minus L. Yeah, that makes sense. Minus L. See what the manual says. Okay, LMN should be alphabetical. Whatever. We're just going to try running it, see what happens. It's not going to kill anything. Perfect. That gives us all of the tickets that we resolved this week. So what's cool about that? So I can go like that and I can say this week. Right? Or no, not this week. Well, yes, this week, but daily done. Whatever. Now what I'm going to do is sed. Let's do this. I forgot how to do this. Sed. Place all files in directory. I think sed can do that all on its own. So you're going to give me problems. I'm just going to go to Google. Sed replace all occurrences in directory. Find. Oh, so I have to chain it to find. Mac OS BSD. That requires explicit extension argument after the I flag. Yeah, this is... Yeah. Alternative method. Filter with grep. Faster for large directories. Yeah. Grep RL. What is R? What does R do? I think RG is compatible. Let's double check. Kaka. What does R do? Status L. Oh. R is the pattern. Can I do sed minus I? This might be insanely destructive. And I have no backup of this because this is not a Git directory, is it? Yeah, it's not a Git directory. This might blow up in my face. But it's important for me to figure this out now, because if I can figure this out now, that means I can batch this in the future. That's why I'm spending time on this. Daily done goes to weekly done. So then we would sed minus I S daily weekly G may not be used with STD in. Oh, xargs, sorry. I see xargs. Dry run. Right. Without minus I will not actually do the replacement. Sorry, xargs. No such file or directory. Yeah, I figured. Xargs sed minus I. Because files have spaces. Xargs deal with file spaces. There's a syntax. Yeah, print 0. Oh, to use find instead. That's it. Xargs minus 0. That's what I'm looking for. Uses null terminated strings. Oh. I don't know if that actually did anything. Well, nothing's broken. File name too long. Oh, that's what the R is. Right. Otherwise, grep checks standard in, right? Minus R is like recursive or something. Yeah. So that'll be the same thing as RG minus L. This also needs L0. There we go, baby. Whoops. Oh, sorry. Sed minus I. Passing it to the wrong thing here. Whoo! I guess so. I guess it's all in there. Daily done. Cool. See? It's a good exercise. Wait, where did my JetBrains writer go? Oh, it was still updating. My bad. That's the other reason why we did that, because we were updating JetBrains. Needed something to do to pass the time. Okay. K. What's good? Physics zone, sound effects, attack sound. We need a lot of sound stuff done. Let's look at some serious bugs that I can't figure out. Kunai, let's put this under bug. Kunai, throwing kunai near a wall pushes us inside the wall. And Carrot Tops spawned from Ghost Farmer walk on air. I don't know why that happens. So let's take a look at those two. The Carrot Top one feels like more easily solvable to me somehow. Don't know why. But let's take a look at it. See, those guys worked fine. Like, why is this guy not detecting? Layer villains. Okay, so villains don't collide with villains, so that's not why. Let me take a look at my Carrot Top. I actually don't even know what script that's under. Carrot Top is the prefab. And then we have a sprite render. Animator villain is the script. Patrol duration, idle duration, attack configuration. There's a patrol script. I see that we turn on and off. There's a melee attack and a health script. So let's take a look at the villain scripts. And let's see. Actually, it's probably the patrol script, right? The patrol script. On trigger, exit 2D, flip direction. Is it this though? Like, what actually is it? We've got, let's take a look at the object. We're on layer villains. Our parent is on layer villains. We've got sprite render, animator we don't care about. Maybe we don't even care about villain here. We probably care about, what does villain actually do? Let's take a look. Villain. What does villain do? Basic all-purpose enemy script for non-special, non-boss enemies. Attack script equals I attack. Okay. Didn't even know I had that. It's been so long. We have a state animator. Okay, that's fair. And we have a state machine. Enemy state machine. Idle patrol attack. So it could be something related to these states. Timed patrol state, timed behavior villain state. And what in the heck is a timed, oopsie daisy. Runs a particular mono behavior script for the given amount of seconds and switches to a new state. Oh, I see. This is what turns on our patrol, turns patrol on and off. So what we pass in here is a villain animation state and a villain state key to go to the next. It also triggers the next state in the state machine on finish. Does it? What does this actually next state? Oh, here it is. Timer, I see. On timer expired. It's up here. On timer expired, go to the next state. That's all that does. Update calls update on the state machine. And then if we should attack and we're not already attacking, this forces us to switch to the attack state. Should attack player. Checks if we have an enemy in range. Fixed update just calls the state machine. Animate calls the animator. It's a very basic script. Yeah, it's nothing special here. I gotta sneeze so bad, I hate it. Okay. So we've got that. That's nothing special. So we have this reverse periscope thing that I remember creating. I remember making it. It's probably on the patrol script. No? Rigid body, body type dynamic. Is that what we want to do? We want kinematic. I think dynamic gives us gravity. I have to read what the difference on the types are again. Kinematic. Right. I think that's right, though. Let me look here. Sorry, we should have some gizmos. Right. Yeah, it's this thing. I can see it here. Oh, that might be a collider. Yes. Not the capsule collider. That's the box collider. That is our periscope. This is the box collider 2D. It's attached to this thing. So let's see how the box collider is used. Let's look at patrol. Oh, it's so simple. Rigid body 2D. So why isn't gravity affecting us? Let's take a quick look at our ghost farmer. And I believe this is in phase 3. Switch to teleport spawn. Yes, where's the teleport spawn? Here we go. Ghost farmer teleport state. Right. Is valid on start. Go to next point. Sure. Relocate. Fade in. Where does the spawning happen? How come I don't see that in here? That would be... Oh, that's weird. Let me look at the ghost boss. I think there's a... Sprite fade flying circles. I thought there was a separate script for spawning enemies. Health script, flash red. Ghost farmer. Spawner, villain spawner. Oh, it's this, the villain spawner. So probably just turns that on. Villain spawner. Let's find the class and then we'll look up usages. Okay, villain spawner. Spawner. Oh, let's, because we got to look up usages of this. Minion count. Okay. Ghostfarmer.cs. Oh, I see. Spawn enemies. So it's this function. which is called on the on start. Oh, okay, I missed that part. Sorry. I had the file open the whole time. It's in our ghost teleport state on start. Wait, what? No, it's not on here. Where was it? Oh, sorry. This is Ghost Farmer teleport state. Teleport. Oh, my bad. Right. Historically, we had teleport and spawn as a single state, and then we split it up is what we did. And I never, ever updated the enum to reflect that. So because this doesn't actually spawn anything, we should remove that from the name, and we should just call it, oh, but that distinguishes it from teleport, which is this one, Ghost Farmer teleport state. New Ghost Farmer teleport state. Rain on appear state.spawn. Oh, what does on appear do? I see. Yeah, this is right. This is right. On appear. Action on appear. And what I need to be looking at is where this gets used, which is here, fade in. I see. So we reuse the same teleport state. However, it's called teleport spawn, but it should be called like teleport to spawn. And this should be called teleport to rain. Let's clean that up. Teleport to spawn. Oh, that sounds like it's teleporting to the spawn. Maybe teleport then spawn. And this should be teleport then rain. Ghost Farmer cleanup. Rename some enum keys to make it more clear about the teleport states, about teleport states differences. I don't know if that's better or worse, but maybe. Okay, so then we go to spawn and we have the spawn state. Is phase 3 machine.spawn entities. Calls back to our thing here. If minion count equals 3, then go back to hide state. Sure. Now, what's actually causing the collision bugs on this? Enemy spawner. Was it spawner? Villain spawner. Oh, dot velocity equals spawn velocity. death listeners. Yeah. On disable. I'm going to ask AI because I'm going to go run to the bathroom and see if he can dig up something. My villain spawner is used by my ghost farmer. What's it called? Is used by my ghost farmer to spawn carrot enemies. But sometimes, instead of falling to the ground, they end up walking on air or get stuck inside walls. Help me debug. They are colliding with in air. It could be the boss is probably boss is on the default layer. Is that what's causing the issue? Oh, the parent is on default. But there's no collider on this. Collider is on the same villains, so it shouldn't be colliding. How do you spell periscope? Periscope. Yeah. That's going to be like a massive thing. But let me use the bathroom real quick. We'll see what it can come up with in the time that I have to use the facilities. I'll be right back, guys. All right. That's not the right one. There we go. Oh, let's see what this guy's got to say. Found it. Likely the root cause for both. Oh. That was in my patrol. Wait, really? Wait, why is it? Why? Why did I do this? Should probably be rigid body 2D, not velocity, not Y. I think it probably used to work. How did I not see that? It was probably working fine because he was always on the ground before, right? And it was probably just me naively being like, I gotta set it to something. What do I default it to? I'll just default it to 0. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that. See, I knew that was going to be an easy bug to fix. I'm a little mad that I couldn't find it as quickly as the AI did. I also don't know if it's possible anymore with that fix. But I know that there was a bug. Oh. Okay, well, so there's another bug here too. Also plausible explains the wall sticking, the periscope box slider, right? Poking down below at a solid capsule collider 2D's bottom only flips the direction. Is overlapping ground. There's no wall-facing sensor at all on patrol. An airborne carrot drifting sideways has nothing under its periscope to begin with. So it can't exit it either. It just keeps walking in one direction until its solid capsule collider physically meets a wall. For visibility to confirm this live rather than just take my read of it, I'll add to Patrol CS some logging. And on-draw gizmos drawing the actual box collider world bounds so you can watch the periscope position relative to the walls. No, that's okay. That's a huge bug fix, actually. This is Patrol. Fix enemies patrolling on air during Ghost Farmer attack. Fix airwalking. Airwalk. Enemies patrolling on air. Patrolling. Super easy fix. Love that. Now, the other issue that we have to take into consideration here is my fade out. Fade out, right? There is a bug with fade out. When we fade out, we are still vulnerable. So let me take another look at my Ghost Farmer or boss spawner.prefab. But bosses. There we go, Ghost Boss. Right, and then our sprite is probably where our health script lives. That's true. Immunity time. Should destroy on death. So, how? Oh, health display. I think there's supposed to be a health display on the screen, but I don't think it's showing up for some reason, which is another thing that we'll look at. How do we make this thing invulnerable? Flip if needed. Because I think the health script right now is what's taking care of his damage, right? Yeah, damage. So what we want to do is we want to protect this in a way. If is immune, how do we set is immune? We probably don't have a public way to set that, which makes sense. Now, this is immune is tied to a timer, I think. If is immune, is immune. Wait. Start immunity timer if needed. So if it's less than or equal to 0, return. Right. So what I'm thinking here is there's one of two things. I can use is immune. Start immunity timer if needed. Okay, I think I can still use is immune. So there's a couple of things floating through my head right now. One is we can use this is immune thing. I can create a public setter that can allow us to sort of override this and just make something immune, right? And then we can manually track that state ourselves in the Ghost Farmer. And that's probably fine. The other thing is we have this built-in function called start immunity timer if needed. Immunity time. It for our purposes here won't interfere because I'm not going to give the boss an immunity timer. Actually, does the boss have an immunity timer? Maybe he does. Before I say that, before I even suggest something silly like that. No, he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one, so he can keep taking damage. But also for game balancing, I might want to give the boss the same, immunity timer that we have. Maybe not the same, but give him an immunity timer just in general. Either way, what we should do, manage by timers. So I'll introduce it. I'll introduce the change. So what we'll have is a and then I don't remember health. There's no interface for health. It's just a mono behavior. Flinch. This is funny. Oh, the interface is defined here for consumers. It's not for this class. Right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say create a new method, public void, set immunity is immune. So I always go back and forth on this. Let's get an opinion from AI here. Just going to ask Google. My boss has a state where he spawns minions and disappears. He's still vulnerable to damage, and he can still, and his hitbox can still damage the player. I want to, what's the best way to handle this? I'll just phrase it like that. I was going to add a set vulnerable immunity. Set immunity method. I was also curious about also debating between methods, signature, set immunity bool, and two separate methods, set immune set vulnerable or something like that, or some such in general. Okay, that's a very long prompt, but whatever. You should separate visibility rendering from hitbox behavior physics, handling the boss state. Because you want the boss to disappear visually. Well, the other thing I could do is I could just disable the colliders, which is probably makes the most sense. Disabling the object will often disable the collider and any attached script, making the boss harmless. Oh, saying to keep the collider and rigid body enabled. Oh, no. I don't want the boss to remain dangerous. For Boolean API, set immunity bool is immune is generally preferred over separate methods for a few key reasons. Flexibility in state machines. Your boss uses a state machine, which is recommended. You can simply pass a state's immunity value. Right. Yeah, I think that's true too. This avoids needing to write if-else logic every time. Reduced API service. Two methods increase surface area of your code, making it slightly harder to maintain. Single method's more clear. Future proofing. If you need to later expand immunity, sending a single method is more intuitive than maintaining a sprawling collection of specialized state setting methods. Okay. I do not want my boss to cause damage while invisible. He also reuses the same health script to detect damage as my player. Now let me see how I have the player set up, because I don't even remember. Ninja, how am I detecting damage over here? Let's open this prefab because this is nested. Hero. Rigid bodies here, capsule collider. Because if I turn off the collider, I can still turn off the collider, I think. Collider 2D. Let's look at the class reference right now. Capsule collider 2D. Because what I'm thinking is maybe because the other one might be a box collider. We don't know what kind of collider it's going to be. Collider 2D. So I can use collider 2D in my health script. You have tight coupling between receiving damage and dealing damage because you want the boss to be vulnerable to incoming damage but incapable of dealing damage. We need to add a damage output gate. The strategy, decoupling collision from impact. Instead of just toggling collider 2D, which would also stop the boss from hitting you, you should introduce a Boolean flag in your shared script that checks if the entity is currently active in terms of dealing damage. Add a property or flag to your script that dictates whether the object is allowed to deal damage on collision. The boss orchestrator. When your boss enters the spawn minion state, you update these two flags independently. Sprite render enable false. Combat entity can deal damage. Why is this better than toggling the collider? Physics continuity. By keeping the collider enabled, you don't break physics or trigger logic like if detect player is standing on me. The player will still physically collide with the boss's hitbox, but the on collision logic will simply exit early. Since you're already using one script for both the player and the boss, adding this can deal damage flag is a lightweight change. It doesn't require rewriting your collision logic. Why don't we want to disable the collider again? What other issues are there? We don't want any collision between player and boss. The player also has a rigid body to detect collisions for ground and walls. Disabling the collider creates several issues, especially when your boss and player share the same movement and collision logic. Physics breakage. If your boss is still in the scene, disabling the collider removes it from the physics engine's interaction list. If the player or another game objects rely on that boss's collide triggers or to block movement, everything will suddenly pass through the boss as if it were a ghost. Well, it is a ghost. Layer collision logic. If your player uses a rigid body 2D to detect ground and walls, disabling the boss's collider might inadvertently cause the boss to fall through the floor. Logic state desync. If you disable the collider, you are essentially removing the boss's physical presence from the world. I'll ask Claude for a second opinion. Oops. I fixed that issue. On to the next. Our boss, our ghost boss, turns invisible but can still deal collision damage to our ninja prefab. We can toggle its colliders on and off to fix that through the shared health script. What are pros and cons of doing? Is this the best practice? Is toggling colliders good practice? I think it's fine for my scenario, but I am a little bit worried. I was a little bit worried, kind of like the AI said originally, about what side effects are caused by when we turn on colliders and then disable them. Yeah, toggling it is legitimate and cheap. That's the standard Unity way to make something intangible, not a hack. The main trade-off is where you put it. Health is shared by every entity. So baking disable colliders when invisible into it means every other health user now carries a logic that can only ever apply to this boss's face mechanic. That's the smell worth avoiding, not the collider toggling itself. Better owner, Ghost Farmer, or a small dedicated intangible phase component it owns, toggling its own colliders when it goes invisible. Health stays about just HP death, and the phase behavior lives next to the thing that actually has it. Does Ghost Farmer have more than one collider? Separate trigger for attack range alongside the body collider? If so, you want to disable specifically the contact damage, not all of them indiscriminately. That's fair. So let's go with that because we don't want to affect our dude. So how do we handle that here? Let's take a look at our ghost farmer. I'm going to go with that method because that sounds actually the best. And collider. We don't have one. Let's take a look at my boss again. So now we don't have to worry about hero because we're going to put it in boss where it belongs. Ghost boss. And what component is he using? Capsule Collider 2D. So what I'll do is in Ghost Boss, we will add a... Also, let's get another opinion. Let's get an opinion on this. Right? For Unity games, when should I use serialize field versus get components in the awake method? Good call. I'm going to ask this AI. Good call. As a general practice in Unity, when is serialize field preferred over get component in awake? I was using a custom get component that also asserts if it doesn't, it also throws assertion failure if it can't find the component. Comes down to a trade-off between performance, workflow efficiency, and maintainability. Here's the breakdown of when to use each approach in Unity. Use serialize field, recommended for most cases. Serialize field makes private variables visible in the Unity inspector, allowing you to drag and drop references directly. Performance. It is the best performance. Unity resolves references during scene loading. There is zero runtime CPU overload. It has high flexibility. You can easily swap out components or assign references from child objects, sibling objects, or even entirely different game objects without changing code. Encapsulation. It keeps your variables private or protected so other scripts can't accidentally modify them while letting you hook them up in the editor. Best practice. Make serialized field your default choice when referencing other components, child objects, and prefabs. We might just switch to doing that overall. Use get component in awake. Get component queries the game object at runtime to find and return the reference requested component. Performance slower. While calling get component once in awake won't cause noticeable lag on its own, it does incur a small CPU cost. Doing this across hundreds of spawning objects can add up. Workflow, prone to human error. If you forget to attach a required component, get up component will return null, which can lead to null reference exception bugs if you don't write defensive code. Maintenance, strict. It assumes the component is guaranteed to be on the same object unless you use get component in children or get component in parent, which can make your prefabs less flexible if your component hierarchy changes. When you should use component in awake is probably when it's dynamic. Yeah, dynamic instantiation. When you're instantiating prefabs at runtime and cannot drag and drop references beforehand. Strict component coupling. When a script must always have a specific component on the exact same game object. A custom movement script that always requires a standard rigid body. And if you want to prevent manual drag and drop errors. Okay, let's see the other answer. Serialize field when reference is structurally not discoverable by type alone. Specific sibling other game object like hero's ground check transform. scriptable object, prefab asset, or anything where more than one valid target could exist, and you need to pick which one, which animator, which settings asset. It also gives you edit time visibility. A none in inspector is obvious before you ever hit play versus a get component failure you only discover at runtime. Get component, your assert wrapped version when the dependency is structural, guaranteed to exist on the game object or a fixed child by the component's own contract. Same category as require component. There's exactly one correct answer, so wiring it by hand in the inspector is just busy work, and forgot to drag it into this prefab variant bug waiting to happen. That's why I created it. The assert wrapper is the right middle ground there. The same fail allowed guarantee as missing serialized reference without needing per instance configuration for something that isn't actually a parameter. Hero.cs draws this line correctly. Worth noting as the pattern to keep following. Ground check is serialized field, a separate transform, genuinely configurable, while collider, health, render, etc. use assert component or assert component in children, structurally guaranteed. Same. Okay. I created an assert component and assert component in children, which will automatically fail if the component is missing. I did this because I kept forgetting to drag and drop components and using serialized field. Recap. You've been fixing physics zone bugs and building debug tools in Ninja most recently. That is a clever engineering solution to a very common frustration. Building your own assertion helpers effectively bridges the gap between the automation of get component and the safety performance you want. However, since you mentioned that you kept forgetting to drag and drop references, there's actually a built-in Unity attribute that solves this exact problem natively without needing custom assertion methods or runtime component. It's called require component. Yeah, I didn't know about require component when I went out of my way to create those methods, which is why I'm now debating sort of undoing that. How does this compare to require component? Should I tear down my assertions and replace them with require component where applicable, and reserve assert component for dynamic cases or child components cases? If your script strictly depends on another component, you can add this attribute at the top of your class. Prevents forgetting. It automatically adds the component. Prevents deletion. Unity will physically block you or anyone from accidentally removing it. When to keep your custom assertions. While require component is fantastic for components on the same game object, it doesn't work if your reference is on a child object. I'm so smart. A sibling object or a different prefab entirely. For those scenarios, your custom assert component in children approach is actually great safety net because it fails fast and loudly during awake, protecting you from silent null reference exception bugs later down the line. And it saves you from tedious drag and drop busy work. Pro tip, combining both worlds. If you want the best of both worlds, zero drag and drop overhead and zero runtime performance, you can use context menu or custom editor scripts to auto-assign fields, or stick to your current assertion pattern if your team's workflow fits your team's workflow well. How are your assert component methods implemented? Are they using get component under the hood during awake or using Unity's pre-build validation steps? They solve different problems, not competing solution. I keep both rather than replace one with the other. Require component is editor add time. Auto adds when the script is attached in the inspector. I think I'm going to shift to using this more because it seems more like the general direction of best practice. But useless for your component in children. No equivalent for children exists. And it's a soft guarantee. It doesn't protect against prefabs assembled or hand edited outside the normal add script in the inspector flow, which matters here since a lot of this project's objects come from LDTK import tooling rather than manual editor authoring. Worth noting, your Git history already has cleanup, suppress error messages during import due to failures, meaning the exact same codebase has hit cases where same Gape object dependency went missing specifically through the import pipeline where require component alone wouldn't have caught it. So add require component for editor UX niceties, auto add delete protection wherever it applies, but I wouldn't tear down the same game object assertions to make room for it. They're cheap and they're the thing that's already caught a real bug in this project once. Your instinct to reserve plain assert component in children for children is right regardless, since require component has no reach there at all. Okay. Oh, let's see if Cam ever got back to me on this 3 days ago. Nope. Not quite yet. That's fine. Whoo, boy. Okay. So what was I looking at here? Oh, so for this. What I'm going to do. So to add our, let's try it and see what happens. Because this is a case where the boss gets spawned by a spawner. So this might fall into the dynamic case. Require component. I'm going to try require component type of Collider 2D. Which I think should be fine. And I'm wondering what's going to happen because it's a more generic type, right? Collider 2D, and then where are we going to have this? What does my inspector look like on this guy so far? Points, phase 1. Okay, so I do have groups, phase 1, phase 2, etc. So before I have those header, before this, I have points. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say serialize field, and we're going to put a Collider 2D Collider. And then we're going to add two methods to the bottom of this for now, above my enums, public void, disable collision, or enable collider, should enable. Boom. And then what I can do is my teleport state, my farmer hide state, fade out. Before I fade, I'll do machine.entity.enable collider false. And we'll just turn off his collision before he goes invisible. I could do it after. It leaves him vulnerable before, but let's test how it feels to do it this way. And let's see what happens because I put that require component on. Let's see if it slaps another component on or if it's, see how smart it is. Our capsule collider 2D is there, so it seems fine. It should prevent me from removing this. So if I hit remove, haha. Cool. And now if I go here, oh, but it doesn't, none. It doesn't default it. So how does that actually help me? I still run into the null error, right? So it doesn't really help me with my situation. Yeah, he's still showing because it's a null reference exception. So that doesn't really help us, does it? I mean, I can maybe shift to that just because that's like the more normal thing to do in general. But I don't know. Or maybe we require a component and use the assert. Oh, but what I didn't do is I didn't turn it back on. And I could move those to the callbacks. They don't have to be where they are right now. Like they're that is a conscious decision that I'm making here to be, I don't know, a little bit lazy, maybe. Like this. Maybe you should really disable it on complete when it's fully invisible. I don't know why this is popping up. But that's good. He's over here somewhere, and I'm not colliding with him, which is good. Oh, I did collide with him there. So that is a little bit of a cheap shot. So let's move this to here and see what that feels like for both of them. And it might be a thing that we might only want to move one and not the other. But let's see what it feels like. Okay, so he's over here, right? Cool. So I don't get dinged over there. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, so that actually does make a lot of sense. Oh, do these maps not have any colliders on them? Okay, so hold on. Let's just commit that real quick. One thing at a time here. Fix disable colliders when not visible, so that boss can't take or deal damage while hiding. Oh yeah, that was another thing. Fix ghost boss can take and deal damage while hiding. It's another bug. So that's done. This is done. This one's a big doozy. Throwing the kunai near a wall pushes us inside a wall. This one I have no idea. So we're gonna Google this one. Google Unity. Throwing projectile gets player stuck in. Or projectile pushes player into the wall. When a projectile hits your player and pushes them into a wall, it usually because the bullet is applying too much physical force to the player's body. You can fix this by setting the projectile's rigid body to kinematic, ignoring the layer, or adding a short script to disable the impact force. If you use rigid body on your bullet, Physics Unity will treat it like a heavy ball. When it hits another object, it pushes it away. Our kunai kinda, I thought does both, but let's see. Kunai. Oh, that's the pickup. Kunai projectile prefab. Oh, it is dynamic. Let me look at the script. Kunai. Oh, sorry, that's the pickup. I think it's just called projectile. Body type. Oh. Maybe it just never needs to be. Maybe it never needs to be dynamic. But hold on, kunai. Let's take a look at the thing here, see what we've got on it. It's just a projectile. That is it. That's the only thing on here. So something else must be setting this as a platform, because I remember I do this somewhere. A platform collider. I actually don't remember where that happens though. Oh, platform collider was on projectile. So so everything behaves that way. So that's not good. Ah. Should move. Where does this get updated? I'm going to try removing this. And removing this. And I'm going to try going here and just setting it to kinematic. And see if that solves my problem. And where did I get this? I got this to happen a lot on a particular forest level, I feel like. Oh, the cave. Maybe? Yeah, like over here or something? I was able to like reproduce this 100% of the time on one of these maps, and I don't remember which one it was. I'm going to try Cave 2. Oh, sorry, it might have been Cave 1, where we actually get the kunai, that little ending strip right there. Right in here. I got it to trigger a lot over here. Let's see. Oh. It's set to rigid body because it has to collide with the wall. I mean, it has to be dynamic. To keep your projectile dynamic so it can land and form a platform, you must stop the projectile from transferring its physical impact force to the player during flight. Collider components. Oh, physics.ignore collision. And then we turn it off here. I see. So it finds all the players and ignores collision. Do I have that in here? Ignore collision? Maybe that's the way to do it. That's probably a good fix. I'm getting kind of sleepy here and I need to eat. So I'm going to hop off. But we will tackle this first thing tomorrow. I also need to work out soon, supposedly. But I don't know how I can have time to do that. Yeah, I got to eat like now, basically. Okay. I'll be back later. We did this for like 2.5 hours. It's still pretty good. We had some things we had to tidy up at first. I am going to hop off, do some human things like eating food, maybe take a nap, get some exercise, the whole shindig, the whole 9 yards. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow probably for more of this. Catch you guys later. Peace. Back tomorrow probably for more of this. Catch you guys later.